We are in eclipse season, okay? And I'm not here to read you your horoscope. I'm not here to predict your future because that is not my lane. But I am here to tell you the truth, which is eclipse energy is the same as healing energy. It's interruption energy. It is the part where the universe does not care about your 5-year plan, about your perfectly curated timeline, or the story that you have been trying to hold together. And I know the majority of us hate it in the moment, but let me tell you this, the very interruptions that you are resenting in the moment is exactly the medicine that you need. So if you want to learn how we can use this energy in a practical way to navigate it, like I said, I'm not going to get too woo-woo, I don't think. Then I invite you to grab a drink, grab a snack, get comfortable. It is time to tune in and shift with me. Welcome back to the On Some Real Shift podcast, where I have real conversations on what it takes to shift your mindset and uplevel your emotional and spiritual life. I'm your host, Vanessa. I'm a certified and accredited life coach. I'm an alignment coach, a spiritual life coach. I do Reiki and sound bath healing, NLP, all of those things. But most importantly, I am a student of the universe, or the university, as I like to call it. Welcome back, friends. So before we get into this is for all my skeptics and non-believers. Number one, I'm not judging you because I get it, right? We're not really taught to believe in the unseen and all that stuff. But I just want to give you something to think about. If we as humans are made up of 97, 98, 99% water, and the moon is responsible for the tide of the ocean, right? How far it comes in and out. Then what makes you think that the moon doesn't have any effect on us, on our spirit, on our emotions, on our energy, when we are also made of water? I'm not going to get too far into it today. That's all I'm going to leave you with. Do with that what you want. The second thing I'm going to say is, like I said earlier, I am not an expert on astrology. I am lightly read in. I understand certain concepts and I use it to help supplement or understand certain phases of my life, but I'm not like a super in-depth, well-versed expert. My friend Dayna Blackburn is, though. So you have to check her out on YouTube, on Instagram, on TikTok. She goes by Blueprint Inspired Life. I will hopefully figure out a way to put it on the screen, and if I don't, I will definitely drop it in the description below. But check her out because she is phenomenal, and she really is great about talking about what's going on in the cosmos and then kind of how we can integrate that into our lives in a practical way. So we've already experienced the first half of eclipse season right on September 7th and the 8th, and that was the lunar eclipse in Pisces. So if you have been feeling heavy emotions, if maybe you feel triggered for quote no reason, maybe you're having unexpected clarity, that's why. Lunar eclipses are known to bring endings, whether it's to relationships, whether it's to jobs, whether it's to thought patterns, to behaviors. You figure out what needs that attention in your life, it's probably going to make its way out the door, okay? Lunar eclipses rip these things away from us. They are not gentle, and they really kind of rip the cover off of what has been lurking in the shadows for so long. So for it being in Pisces, that means for a lot of us, we've been confronted with like a lot of truths that we have probably been avoiding. My goodness. With it being in Pisces, a lot of us have been confronted with our truths about avoidance, our emotions, and then the illusions that we've been probably clinging onto for dear life. So now we're moving into the second half of eclipse season, which is a solar eclipse in Virgo. And I think that's happening on September the 21st. Solar eclipses bring new energy, but they also don't come peacefully or gently, okay? Virgo energy is all about perfection. It's about control. It's about structure, order. And this eclipse is about where you have been clinging on too tightly. Think about the areas where you may be micromanaging your life rather than just trusting the process. So together, these eclipses are like the universe saying, Control, Alt, Delete, okay? First, the lunar eclipse showed us what we need to release. But now the solar eclipse is showing us, or actually making us ask ourselves, what is the new foundation that you are going to build once you finally let go? And you don't have to know astrology to understand this because the metaphor is very, very simple, which is eclipse energy is the same as healing energy. Eclipses reveal what you have been ignoring, and healing does the same exact thing. I've said it before, but we know that healing is not peaceful. It is disruptive. You don't get to pick the timing. You don't get to decide when the wound resurfaces. You don't get to plan your grief around anything. You don't get to schedule your heartbreak or your burnout around your deadlines. Okay, it's just not how that works. Life interrupts, and that interruption is probably what you have been running from. That relationship that seemingly blindsides you with an ending, that's the universe showing you where you may have been settling and pretending that you have been fulfilled. That health scare that has knocked you on your ass, that's your body saying, I can't continue to carry this weight anymore, this emotional weight anymore. That wave of grief or anger that seems to pop up just randomly, it's not. It is your body, it is the universe saying, we still have work to do here. Stop trying to skip the chapters. And if you're really real with yourself, you know the areas that you have been avoiding. You know where you have been dodging healing. Some of you are hiding in toxic relationships because you are afraid to be alone, or you don't want to hear somebody else tell you, I told you so. I told you it wasn't going to work out. You don't want to feel like you got egg on your face. Some of you are drowning in work, calling it ambition, but really it's avoidance. Some of you are on this fake positivity, good vibes only train, right? When you are really bleeding under the surface. Some of you are scrolling, binge eating, binge drinking, shopping to excess, binge watching Netflix like way too much, abusing sex, abusing whatever, doing any and everything except for sitting with yourself. But the reality is avoiding healing costs far more than the pain of just going through it. The cost of not healing is repeating cycles, broken relationships, burnout, and a body that finally gives out because it has no choice. So when the disruption comes, you have a choice. Either you numb out or you wake up. You know, we always want healing to be so pretty, right? We want it to be a journal prompt, a meditation cycle, a wellness retreat, go do ayahuasca, and then you wake up and say, you know what, I'm healed. But real healing is when your life looks and feels like it is falling apart. It looks like the eclipse. For a moment, the lights go out, right? All light disappears and you can't see shit. That's when the truth reveals itself. Forces clarity. I mean, it's really just up to you to decide if you're going to take a look or keep hiding, keep avoiding. That breakup shows you what love is not. It shows you what you actually don't want to tolerate ever again. That burnout is showing you the cost of abandoning yourself. And that emotional spiral is showing you the wound that you keep avoiding touching because it's too painful. The one that you've been keeping buried and you think that it will just stay silent, but it never does. Here's the tea that most people actually are not going to tell you. The more that you avoid this healing, the more that you avoid the disruption, the more chaos you're going to actually create in your life. Staying in that job that you hate out of fear, life is going to drag you out with a full-on breakdown. You keep tolerating a relationship that is toxic or just not aligned, there's going to be a betrayal that happens that finally rips it away. You keep pretending that you're fine, life will hand you a crisis that you cannot silence, that you cannot ignore. And listen, I'm not wishing that for anybody or anything. And it's not even a punishment from the universe, from God, whatever higher power you subscribe to, but that it's energy. It's how it works. It is the only way that we can grow. The universe will force these events to force us to grow. I've said it before and I'll say it again. Oftentimes healing looks like loss before it looks like liberation, before it looks like gain. But eclipse energy and healing energy do carry the same promise, which is if you are brave enough to sit in it, if you are brave enough to sit in that dark, you will come out with eyes that see differently. So Vanessa, you just told me that eclipse energy is going to flip me on my ass. How do I get through it? I got you. I got 4 simple, practical things that you can do to help carry yourself through this energy. Number 1 is probably going to feel hella cliche, but I don't care. Journaling. And if you've been here before, you know that I am a big fan of video journals. I take videos far more than I write in my journal because I like to reflect on my video journals. And it's really nice to be able to see the expression on my face, even if I'm crying. It's just nice. I can feel the energy and get a closer sense of where exactly I was at that moment in my life. And then fast forward to like now, then I can look back and say, wow, I've experienced a lot of growth. It's more palpable for me. But when I say journal, I don't want you to just write down anything. I want you to ask yourself something very, very specific. What is this disruption trying to show me? Not why, not who to blame. Just what is the truth here? What is the truth here that is trying to be revealed that I've probably been trying to ignore? Number 2 is a body scan. Notice where there's tightness in your body. Is it in your shoulders? Is it in your chest? Is it in your jaw? Is it in your back? Because that is where you're holding control. Breathe into that space until it softens, and do it every day. Do it multiple times a day. For me, my jaw has been clenched for so long because I've been trying not to speak on certain things that I should have been speaking on for a long time. And the headaches I'm not going to get into it. Just know I've been clenching my jaw. Number 3 is give yourself permission to pause. Stop forcing solutions. Healing does need silence. Sometimes the most radical act you can do for yourself is to sit in the silence and just let the truth land. It's coming. It's coming whether you want it to or not. And last thing I'd say, do a mini ritual. And it doesn't have to be anything crazy. You can just light a candle. You can go outside and put your feet in the grass, touch the ground. It doesn't need to be anything mystical. It just needs to be something that says, I am here, I am present, I am listening. I'll tell you that some of the hardest seasons of my life in the moment felt like a punishment. Now that I have been on this journey longer, I know that the universe is not here to punish me. The universe is here to support my highest good always. The thing is, it might not always feel like it, and it's come in so many different forms. It's come in the form of losing relationships that I thought I wanted to last forever, or burning out of jobs that I knew no longer aligned with me, but I held on for whatever reason. It is watching parts of myself crumble that I thought I had outgrown. But looking back, they were all eclipse moments, right? They were forced resets. And they were needed because I certainly wasn't going to do it myself, but at the time I was mad. I felt abandoned, but now I see that those interruptions were lifesavers. I would have never chosen them for myself, but I needed them. So whether you believe in astrology or not, eclipse season is just a mirror. It reminds us that life interrupts us on purpose. So the next time you feel like your plans are falling apart, the next time your healing journey feels messy, I want you to ask yourself, not why me? I want you to ask yourself, what is this trying to show me? What is this trying to reveal to me? And listen, you might not be able to in the moment. Sometimes in the moment, all you can do is curse and cry, and that's fine. But once you get through that and you start to get reflective, don't victimize yourself. Why me and all that? We're not doing that. Ask yourself, what is this trying to show me? What is this trying to reveal to me? Because when healing meets disruption, that is when true transformation happens. And we also have to have trust. Have trust in God, have trust in the universe, have trust in divine timing. So that's it. That's today's download. If you found this helpful, then please share it with a friend that you think would benefit from it too. I would love to hear any of your eclipse isms, your eclipse experiences, anything that kind of helps get you through or anything that you might be going through. I know it's been beating my ass already. As always, I am super, super grateful for your time. I will catch you on the next episode. Peace.